50 households displaced in New York City this week. QNS.com, 2026-06-16. 7,700 acres consumed by the Bear Fire in California. KTSM 9. News, 2026-06-16. While homeowners watch their net worth literally smolder, a new class of nomads is retiring at 41 with zero real estate. They aren't lucky. They just use geo-arbitrage math to win. By the end of this video, you will know the exact portfolio size that replaces a $600,000 property. And it is not what you think. The traditional path to retirement always started with a 30-year mortgage. But in 2026, sophisticated nomads are denouncing the cult of homeownership. Financial Independence Podcast, NARP 29. Think about the risk of single-location assets. This week alone, the California Fire Map shows massive threats to property across the state. San Francisco Chronicle, 2026-06-17. And the Bear Fire has already scorched 7,700 acres. KTSM 9 News, 2026-06-16. When your net worth is locked in a physical structure, you are vulnerable to natural disasters, property taxes, and maintenance sinks. Unlike 2025, where people still clung to brick and mortar for safety, 2026 has proven that liquidity is the only true security. Early retired fire achievers didn't just avoid buying houses, they actively sold them to dump the capital into the markets, reaching their number a full decade ahead of their mortgage-carrying peers. How do you retire at 41 without the safety net of a paid-off home? It comes down to the safe withdrawal rate, SWR, and the 4% rule, Glossary, MER 189. In a high-cost U.S. city, a $6,000 monthly spend requires a $1.8 million portfolio. But nomads leveraging geo-arbitrage in 2026 can live like royalty in places like Costa Rica for $2,000 a month. International Living, number 57. At that burn rate, your freedom number drops to just $600,000. By renting instead of owning, these nomads kept their capital working in the market rather than rotting in a zero-yield primary residence. According to Nomad Capitalist, buying a home is often a bad investment when you calculate the opportunity cost of that down payment. Nomad Capitalist, number 107. To stay retired, your money needs to be borderless and tax efficient. If you are a non-US nomad, the standard in 2026 is the accumulating ETF, specifically the Vanguard FTSE All World, or VWCE, Glossary, MER 88. Because dividends are reinvested automatically, you defer taxes until you sell, which is a massive advantage in 2026's volatile tax environment. For U.S. citizens, you must avoid non-U.S. ETFs to stay clear of punitive PFIC tax rules. Stick to U.S.-listed funds like VTI or VEXUS even while living abroad. Using a global brokerage like Interactive Brokers, IBKR, ensures your account won't be closed just because you moved to Portugal, Mexico, or Thailand. Glossary, Nations 86. Many nomads think they need to buy property to get residency, but that is a $500,000 mistake. Heading into 2027, several golden visa programs that required real estate are being reformed or closed. Wealthy expat, Yarsma 148. Instead, the smarter play is passive income or bank deposit visas. Portugal's D7 or the new D8 digital nomad visa allow residency based on income or savings, not property deeds. Glossary, MER 179. In 2026, you can also look at territorial tax hubs like Georgia, Panama, or Paraguay. Glossary, MER 77. These countries often grant residency for a simple bank deposit of $5,000 to $20,000. Nomad Capitalist, number 105. This keeps your wealth liquid and ready to move if a literal or figurative fire threatens your current base. The final piece of the 41 fire puzzle is mastering the 183-day rule. Glossary, MER 179. If you don't own property, you aren't tethered to any one tax system. By spending less than half a year in high-tax jurisdictions, you avoid becoming a tax resident by accident. For Americans, this is how you maximize the Foreign Earned Income Exclusion, FFEIE, which in 2026 allows you to shield roughly $126,500 of remote income. Glossary, MER 178. If this breakdown is saving you money, hit like. It helps more nomads find this channel. If you are fully retired, you'll pivot to the Foreign Tax Credit, FTC, to offset taxes on your passive dividends. Unlike 2025, the 2026 IRS enforcement is tighter on digital IDs, so keeping a meticulous travel log is mandatory. These nomads treat their tax residence like a chessboard, always staying one move ahead of the authorities. In June 2026, we see that safety is an illusion. A dozen firefighters were injured this week tackling a 5-alarm blaze in an Elmhurst apartment, QNS.com, 2026-06-16. If your retirement plan is the equity in a building that can be condemned in a single afternoon, you don't have a plan, you have a gamble. The Nomads who retired at 41 did so by diversifying a small tail slice of their portfolio into hard money tangible assets like timber or agricultural land through international funds, not by managing a house themselves. Expat Money, Reader 17. Because this illiquid allocation sits at the tail of an already diversified liquid core, it adds inflation protection without compromising the portfolio's overall flexibility or emergency access. They use Wise and Revolut for multi-currency liquidity and Interactive Brokers for their core wealth. By 2027, the goal is to be flag planted in at least 3 countries. One for residency, one for banking, and one for lifestyle. Nomad Capitalist Book, NAR 121. You now know how to build a fire life that literal fires can't touch. But a liquid portfolio is useless if your banking setup is still vulnerable to account closures. In my next video, I'm revealing 3 offshore LLC structures that cost under $500 to set up. A Wyoming LLC, a New Mexico LLC, and one more that most tax advisors won't mention. All fully compatible with 2026 and 2027 tax rules. Subscribe so you don't miss it. It is the key to protecting the wealth you have just built.